You said that your wife, Layla, has very expensive taste.
Yes.
Does this ever bother you? If she was like, Alex, I want to buy a $50,000 purse, you'd be like,
For Alex, it's pennies. It's like
you wouldn't care.
No, she does that. It's like, no, she does whatever she wants.
But not a single part of you.
She earns her own, like, we do this together.
But it's a joint thing, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So,
I mean, I spend money on different, like, I spend money on stuff. I mean, I spend money on like gym equipment. That's like what I like. That's like the one thing that I spend money on.
How much more new equipment? Like, they're not coming out with new machines every month, right?
I mean, they do come up with new machines.
They do?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean,
every month is like, it's like a fashion
Is
show.
it inside your apartment?
No, so we just bought the old UFC headquarters. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a huge chunk of space.
Oh.
So
right,
we're making a massive gym there. Mm-hmm. So that'll probably cost like, I don't know, $450,000 all in. But like, so it's like, how many purses could she have? Probably a lot, you know? And so, but like, I just buy, you know, my stuff's a little chunkier than hers is, but like Layla wanted to have nice things her whole life. And so we have the ability to do that. So why should I, like, what do I gain by depriving her of that? It's not like it puts us in any kind of different financial situation than we are now. Like if her spending in any way materially affected our goals, she wouldn't do it. Like, she's only done that when it basically doesn't affect us in any real way. And so like, why would I stop her from doing that? Like, why have the money to begin with?
But have you ever thought of the reason why she wants the expensive things and why she wants to?
And I don't think she knows the answer either. Who knows? Like like when people ask why, we just guess and answer, and we answer with things that we've answered in the past that people have given us approval for. So it's like, why are you so motivated, Alex? I could be like, my father never gave me enough approval. Or I could say my mother didn't pay enough attention to me. Or I could say I had a teacher who encouraged me early on. Or I spoke once in class and I did a good job and I really wanted to do more of that. Like, I could make up 100 different reasons, but all we know is that I do these things. And I think just erasing the why and the because, it just makes the life a lot easier because you don't have to deal with it. So it's like the two things that I've been focused a lot on is like elimination of should, which I think I talked a lot about on one of the first podcasts that we did together. And I'd say like my focus right now is kind of elimination of why and because we don't know. You have no idea. Like, I don't know. Like, we're like, I think he was, it's like when someone tries to guess your intention. It's like, you don't know. You don't know why I said that. And the real reason, I don't know why I said that. We just know that I said it, and just focus on that. And that's just been easier in terms of like communicating with other people, managing relationships, even persuasion. It's like trying to be like, you did this because you don't know. Stick to what you can observe. And that's just made my life a lot easier.
It appears like it's a part of human nature to come up with all of these extra details, problems, justifications, etc., explanations for certain things. Why is it in our nature to continually do this and complicate things when you explain things, it's just so simple?
I have no idea. I know that we do it. I don't know why.
That is so unfair. That is, I mean, it's a perfect answer.
Why is it unfair?
No, it's a great answer. No, it's a great answer.
That's so
it's a great.
It's like, I can make something up if you want, but like, it'll just be made up.
Yeah.
And to be fair, most people will just make up, answers to questions of like, why.
Yeah.
And it's a hard balance for me because sometimes I'll get on podcasts and like the more strict I am and kind of to a certain degree, like what mood I'm in, I might answer very much more strictly on that, but it can sometimes make for a more, boring podcast experience because people are like, fine, so we don't know anything. And I'm like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's interesting for you to go from like Layla wants and has all these nice things to you where you're just like, I'm just going to get down to the basics. Why do I want this? Do I really need it? No. It seems like Layla's very much an opposite in that. She'll just say, I want it. I don't need to think about why I want it or what this means. I just want it. I'm not going to put any more effort into that.
There was a boat big yacht that had a name on it that I really liked. And it was, don't analyze your pleasures. And I just like, she knows that she likes it. Mm. And I like that she likes it. And like, what is wrong with that? Like, the only reason that someone would have any objection to that is simply because of the price tag associated with it. If she liked buying $1 clothes, no one would have any issue with it. Mm-hmm. It's just because it's expensive, but that's based on their understanding of expensive, not necessarily my context. And even if I had made the exact same amount of money as whoever would be judging me or judging Layla for buying clothing like that, why do you care how I spend my money?
Yeah.
Spend yours your way. Because basically them, expressing that is expressing their preference that I would live. They would prefer that I live the way they live their lives. Sure. But like, why don't you just keep living your life the way you prefer, and I'll keep living my life the way I prefer. I don't prefer that you live your life a different way.
Live your wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want.
Okay.
Yeah. If there's like that's my, like no should, elimination of should, elimination of why and because. Like that would be my, presidential campaign. No shoulds, no whys, and no becauses.
Do you think if you were president that you could do a better job or you could do a great job?
No, I think I would do a horrible job.
You think so?
I don't know.
I heard this question. Question online, and everyone's like saying, "Oh, you should ask people this question to see what they say." I don't know.
I have no aspirations or desires. I have actually had a conversation this morning about that. Someone's like, "Man, if you like could talk about politics, you would go so much wider." I don't have interest. Like I've never been interested in politics. Like I don't follow the news. I like, again, the only thing that I consume is something as it relates to how we make money and how we run our businesses. That is the only thing that I like. I'll consume anything tangentially to that, and that's it. Like if I was in healthcare, I'd probably be looking more about like what, if I was like getting into like HRT, like hormone replacement therapy, if as an industry, if I want to get into, then I'd be looking at legislation that's pending that might make some of our, reclassify some of the drugs that we might be selling or something like that. Like that would be something I'd be interested in, but it wasn't because of the politics. I would just be interested because of the economics. So one, I don't have interest. Second is that I'm not very knowledgeable about it. And those kind of go hand in hand. But like if someone were to ask me a political question, I don't have any
skill and interest.
Yeah, I have no knowledge on that. Mm-hmm. And if I made a point, people probably have an excellent counterpoint, and they'd be like, "What do you think about that?" I'd be like, "You're probably right. I don't spend time on this." Like, so I feel like I would be making an ignorant. I'd be giving ignorant advice, and if I were to do anything, it would just be like from first principles. And I'm sure there's many things that get in the way of that from like a legislative perspective and whatnot. And so I focus on the things that I am good at and that I enjoy.
Is there anything you're unhappy about?
I would say I have the same complaints that any entrepreneur would, which is like I always want things to happen faster. But like I also realize that and try to adjust my expectations appropriately and talk to Solomon and be like, well, what did you expect? If I were to give me advice, I'd be like, you're doing fine. And it's actually happening faster than you originally thought it was going to happen. So like, are you really just readjusting your expectations so that you can be dissatisfied? Well, that sounds silly. But no, I'm not. I'm like, honestly, I like my life. It's weird. It's odd nowadays to just be like, I like my life. Like I've spent a lot of effort to create an environment with people that I enjoy, doing things that I enjoy. Are there things day to day that come up that are stressors? Of course. Like that's, any business, anything you do has overhead, but I like what I do every day. And I think I'm pretty good at it. And that brings me a lot of enjoyment.
When you wake up, you'd say the off the rip emotion that you feel is
tired.
How much sleep do you get?
Oh, I mean, I if I get 8, I can like cure cancer. So like I try to like I got two 8-hour sleeps in a row this last week, and I was like, I could literally repaint the Mona Lisa right now. Like I felt so good.
What occupies that time that would inhibit you to get 8 hours?
Nothing inhibits me from getting 8 hours. I just wake up earlier. That's like more often what happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I haven't put an alarm on. Yeah, I haven't put an alarm on in.
How do you do that?
Forever.
Upon first wake up, do you get up or do you sometimes think?
No, I try. If I can go back to sleep, I will. But I mean, there's a lot of things I want to do, and so like I get excited. Yeah. I mean, like I'll be physically tired, but like I'm excited mentally. Like my brain will turn on, and I'm like, ooh, there's all these things I want to do. I mean, there was a time when I had one of those rings that like did your sleep stuff,
Oura ring,
and I got more annoyed about the ring.
Why?
Because this maybe an indication of how much I've changed over time. Yeah. I was 22 the last time I did that, so it was 12 years ago. But I got so competitive with myself to try and like beat my last night's PR that I would like stress about trying to like I would like not move so that it wouldn't like wake the ring up to think that I was sleeping. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then I was like, I'm sleeping worse now that I have this ring on. So I was like, fuck, and if anything, I'd wake up the next day and it would give me a reason why like the day would like it would tell me if I was going to have a good or bad day. And I was like, well, that's silly. Because I've had plenty of days that have been very little sleep and been great days, and I've had days where I slept great.
Because I have the Oura ring and I use it a lot, and I do say that when I see in the morning that says like you did not get a good night of rest, be careful today.
Yeah.
It does kind of put me in a mood where I'm like, oh crap, yeah, it's telling me I got to be careful. I wouldn't have even thought about that had it not been now planted in my mind that maybe I'm going to be a little slower today.
Well, that's like the superstition stuff that I've talked about, where it's like. Dr. Cashy, a good buddy of mine, he says he defines a scam as something that if you remove it, your function gets worse. And so it's like basically we create these crutches. So it's like, oh man, if I don't have my green juice in the morning, like I feel terrible. But then after a while, you start to be able to only take the green juice just to feel normal. Well, then if I take the green juice away, then I feel bad. Well, then that's a scam. Like it doesn't actually do anything. It doesn't work. And so I'm super cautious. And to your point about like creatine at the very earlier, it's like, I just really try not to be superstitious about anything because I want to have as many of the controllables under my control as I can. And if I love the idea of competing against somebody who has a million crutches. It's like you just knock one of them out and they're screwed. Like if my competitor, if I don't have 8 hours of sleep, I'm a bear. It's like, well, I can't wait for you to have one bad night's sleep and then I'll just win that day because I don't mind having a short night's sleep and still working. Like I work fine. So anyways, all that to say, sometimes I sleep shorter and sometimes I sleep longer. I sleep as long as I can.
With Layla, I know we kind of like alluded to this in like previous conversations.
A lot about Layla.
It's always about Layla.
Hey, I'm sorry, man.
You got an interest too? What are we talking
She's
about?
interesting, okay? You guys live, I'm sure, incredibly challenging, incredibly busy lives. And maintaining a relationship, I know we've talked about this before, but maintaining a relationship in that environment can be incredibly challenging. And you said last time that you have an algorithm. Like you have logic that determines the success of your relationship with Layla. And if something isn't fitting, then you need to change the inputs.
Sure.
I'm wondering, not when is the last time this has happened, because I'm not going to ask that question.
Last night, Jack.
Yeah.
But that's the answer.
Right before I got here.
Like
Twice.
Has it?
and then once again right after.
Has it continued to serve you to see it as an algorithm? Because I like to think that love is this thing, that it's more of like a nondescript thing that kind of just like occurs between two people. And it's not so like algorithmic and equational. You know what I mean?
Well, I think just for the audience sake, it's not like I have this Excel sheet at home of like, okay, 3 hugs equals, like a kiss or, you know what I mean? I don't have
One
like
Chanel bag.
Yeah, one Chanel bag equals 2 good days,
Yeah.
Whatever, Well, I would say this, which is that if you feel like it is that ephemeral thing that's so hard to capture and so hard to describe, like I'd be like, good luck finding it. And honestly, I think the big difficulty with love and marriages in general is that everything's n=1. So even like my relationship with Layla is unique in that I am one of one and she's one of one, and together, like I've seen, and you probably have too, I've seen like 60-year marriages, people are 90 in their 90s, very different dynamics with all of them. And like you guys have a unique partnership for this podcast, and everybody else has unique dynamics for their partnership, and we know what has worked for them. I share what has worked for me. If some of those things help other people, awesome. If they don't, then ignore them. Both of us tend to be very agreement oriented, meaning neither of us like to be controlled. Both of us have a lot of agency. Like we like to make our own decisions and kind of operate freely. And so like, how do you get two people together that are really strongly independent? We make agreements. And like, these are like, I agree to these things, you agree to these things. And like, as long as that works for us, then we don't change the agreement. It's worked great. And if something comes up, then it's like, hey, let's revisit this. And if it makes sense, then we revisit it. And that has worked really well because we have exceedingly clear expectations of one another in terms of like what we're going to do and what we're not going to do. And that has worked really well.
And there's always resolve between these disagreements.
Yeah.
Eventually.
I mean, pretty quickly usually. Yeah. We don't argue much.
Do you have some other like silver lining that kind of, not silver lining, but like other thing that arbitrates these disagreements between you and her? Maybe some fundamental agreements that you made off, right in the beginning that you can then use as rules to decide current disagreements?
Well, I think fundamentally, Layla and I also both believe that love is conditional, not unconditional. And so even the idea of marriage for us has been based on agreements, which is like, if there were a time in the future where Layla no longer wanted to do the things that I want to do, then I would not hold her to her commitment to be with me because it was contingent on that we want these same things. And so it's like similar mission, similar values, similar interests. Like if you want to go to the same place and get there the same way, values, and what you spend your time on in between, interests, is aligned, then you'll probably be okay. And I think the problem is that a lot of people will, this is my, one man's 2 cents, is a lot of people are actively looking for hookups and then thinking hookups will turn into life partners and wives and spouses. But if you were to look for a hookup, you would look for a very different thing than you would for a spouse. And so expecting one to become the other, I don't know if that's the best frame. This has worked for us because we are that way. Now there are people that I know who have amazing relationships where one is completely subservient to the other. And that works for them. I really enjoy our relationship because I get tremendous utility from Layla. Like she serves me in a lot of ways, more than I would say most men get from their spouses, at least businessmen, you know what I mean, who are married. Like it's not common at all for a wife to be even close to Layla's level. I mean, sometimes they're like, oh yeah, she's like the secretary in the business, and sometimes they overtitle the person to make her feel better or whatever. But like that's, I would say, more of the norm, if at all, in the business. Like Layla absolutely runs the business. She is CEO, period. I'm like off to the side and I like think of good things every once in a while. But like she's the one who runs everything. And like only the people inside of our company can actually like appreciate that. And I will still always get the credit because I am who I am and I look the way I look and I talk the way I talk. But like she's really the one that does it. And so I get a ton out of that. And this is how it has worked for us. Like Layla in every other relationship in her life was always the dominant one. Like, because most guys will fold to Layla. She's incredibly strong-willed. It's like, it's my belief, at least, if you enjoy a male-female dynamic, you just need it. Like, if you're a strong woman, you just need a more strong man.
What sort of personal contentions do you have between the two of you? Because it seems like everything is really just business-oriented.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about business all day. That's what we do.
Yeah.
I would say that the busier we are with business, the more we will try and carve out time to not be business. If things are more like normal pace, we don't really need to carve the time out. The time kind of happens on its own. And so, I've seen, clips and stuff where people say like, you have to have a date night once a week and you can't talk about business. And like people like just like throwing these rules out. I just hate all of that. Like if we feel like we need to like reconnect because it's like we're a little bit too distant in terms of like, hey, I feel like I haven't seen you in a week, then like, let's go out to dinner. Let's take some time and let's just hang out and catch up. I mean, sometimes the equal opposite, like I feel like I've been with you all day. Like I'm gonna get some space, go to the gym, hang out, get some food with some guys, and like I'll be back. And so I think we just manage that. And I think especially in like the world of remote work, I actually think that in my opinion, people spend too much time together. I think this is Esther Perel, but I think you need to create space to be missed. Like there's no time where like I'm more excited to see Layla than a time that I haven't seen her. Motivation is the equal opposite of deprivation. If I haven't seen her in a while, I'm deprived of Layla. I'm more motivated to see her. If I've seen her a ton, then I'm probably less motivated to see her.
So you think a lot of the times in relationships, people could be spending too much time together?
Absolutely. Nowadays, for sure, they live in the same house. They literally spend all day together. Like I don't think that's at least normal from how we kind of came.
I think you need two experiences to come together, and then you have something to talk about. Because otherwise, if you've had the same experiences all day for weeks, it's like, what do you talk about?
I was there.
At a certain point. Yeah.
Like how was your day? I don't know. I was there. Like we have nothing else to say. So like I think so like and when we figured this out for our relationship, it was still like 2 or 3 years in. We actively just like created a ton of space. We worked on opposite sides of the house. We didn't attend. I came off the meetings that she was on. And so like at the end of the day, I was like, oh, you met with John today. How was that? And she's like, oh, this is what this happened. And I was like, oh, and you met with that vendor who's doing this thing. She's like, yeah. And this is what we negotiated. What do you think about this? And like blah, blah, blah. And then I go through my calendar and like literally we still to this day do that. Is that at the end of the day, we go for a walk, 45 minutes. I take out my phone. She takes out her phone. We go through our calendars and we just literally download. Like, how was your day? How was my day? Like, what are the things that we're working on and moving forward? And that's how we kind of like resync up. And then after that, we're kind of husband and wife the rest of the day.